Right. Good morning, members of the media. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. The Vodacom Bulls side that will take on Zebra Palma on Saturday will be Simpiwe Matanzima at 1, Akafanda Meva at 2, Wilco Low at 3, Yanko Swanepoel at 4, Rowan Nokia at 5, Marcel Kutsi at 6, Elrich Low at 7, Cameron Hanekom at 8, Zach Berger at 9, Johan Hussein at 10, Sergio Peterson at 11, David Kriel at 12, Stedman Hans at 13, Sebastian de Klerk at 14, with Devon Williams at 15. The Impact squad sees Johan Robler at 16, Dylan Smith at 17, Mornay Smith at 18, Reina Ludwig at 19, Nizamka at 20, Emrose Papir at 21, Chris Smith at 22, and Wandisile Similane at 23. Ashfaq, remember, you will take the last question this week as part of your naughty corner. Gobus, you can kick us off. Thanks.
I accept my punishment. Thank you, Lunga.
Thanks, Lunga.
Because remember, you asked about the seven.
Oh,
seven
yes,
round
yes.
tickets, yeah.
Okay.
Yes,
Jake,
did you identify this game beforehand as a game where you can give a few other players a chance in a starting 15?
No, Kubus. I mean, I'd like to give everyone a chance, and keep the squad fresh. I said it to you beginning of the tournament. I think one area that I probably, was poor on last year was creating competition and getting confidence from guys that train every week to get match time. So, as it stands now, the guys who haven't had a start get some starts, and it's got nothing to do with whether it's Zebra or whether it's the third game. I think as we go along, we want to try and reshuffle the squad so that at least we get some depth in every position. But, I mean, you can see we kept 6, 7, and 8 the same. I don't want to make changes in every department. I think we got to try and keep some consistency in some areas every week.
And just a nice chance for Akker at hooker, trying to put a bit of pressure on Grobis.
Yeah, he played really well off the bench. I mean, he came within centimeters of scoring a try to get us 3 points. So, and we know he's a Springbok. He's played well. He's a seasoned professional, and he will create pressure. There's nothing wrong with that. I mean, I think Grobis and Jan Hendrik know that the one position we're very, very blessed with is the number 2 jersey. So, hopefully they all play well and they put pressure on each other, and it makes every one of them better at the end of the season.
Thanks, Jake. Thanks, Lunga.
Thanks,
you. Gobus. Ati?
Thanks, Lunga. Hi, Jake. How are you?
Good, man. Good.
Jake, a game like this, obviously on paper, it seems like the Bulls are going to win it. But then just how are you guys sort of approaching it to just make sure that complacency doesn't creep in ahead of tomorrow's game?
Yeah, Ati, I mean, look, I must say we're not worried about complacency. We lost last week, and that's always always a way in which you very fully aware of that nothing's given. I mean, there's a tough tournament, and it's an away game, and as I said, we need to play well. I mean, Zebra came within a scrum away at the end of the game to beat Ulster. And last week they were, doing really, really well and also just lost. So, there's no easy games. I don't think there's any chance of complacency in our squad.
Jake, Marcel touched on consistency and competitiveness in performances during the week. Just again, how important will those two elements be in terms of you going about increasing the depth within your squad?
I think it's as I said just now to Kobus, I mean, that's an area that we identified as from the players themselves as well, is that we need to have competition in places. We need to play well every time we get a chance. We can't always rely on the same players all the time. And that's why I'm saying it's quite exciting. We got some changes, some P-way starts. We've been a long time since he's had a start with Akker. He's obviously a Springbok and Wilco is a Springbok. So it's nice that we get that combination and try it out. And lock-wise, we've got 2 really good jumpers now and I want to see what it's like to play 2 5 locks in a team as well. So there's a lot of reasons why we can mix and match. I think it's also just, from a coaching point of view, we want to see whether or not we create competition in each position.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Artie. Carl? Carl Fabian, you good?
Yeah, sorry. Jake, what do you expect from Zebre?
Well, I think one thing I do expect is they score lots of points, Carl. I mean, if you look carefully, I think they got 36-40 the first game, and they lost 36-something as well the second game. So, I mean, they score lots of points. They score lots of tries. So I'm expecting it to be a tough game. I mean, I'm expecting them to test our defense. And as I said, they've basically been in both fixtures until the death, and they could have quite easily won both those games. I think one thing about Zebre, early on in competitions, they're much better prepared than most teams because they lose the least amount of internationals, I think, of any team in the competition. You look at all of the Welsh franchises lose players to the World Cup. You look at the box sides lose, the South African sides lose box players to the World Cup. And Zebre, probably with the makeup of their squad, have the least amount of disruption and the most time to prepare in the off-season. So that's why I think one thing about Zebre is they genuinely start quite well in every season, and they make it difficult for opposition.
Thanks a lot.
Thanks,
Okay.
Carl. Ashfaq?
Thank you, Lunga. I hope you miss me, Jake.
I always miss you, Ashfaq.
Jack, the guys scored some wonderful tries in the first game, and there was quite good fluency for the first match of the season. And maybe last week, perhaps there were a couple of opportunities missed. Is it a case of, you go on tour and the conditions are a bit different and surface, and that contributes to the maybe the missed opportunities? And would you hope for an improvement in that regard Saturday?
Yeah, Ashfaq, one thing, I mean, I've been doing this job a long time, and the one thing I probably got wrong is we played into the wind in the second half, and not only did the wind, I wouldn't say pick up, but didn't die, then the rain came. So it made it even more difficult to play into the rain and into the wind. I was under the impression the rain would stay away, and sort of as the evening approached, maybe the wind would die a little bit. So, yeah, I mean, that's why you notice the first half we probably were okay. We still made lots of mistakes. But the fact that we tried to sort of play out of our half, the second half with that wind into us, probably affected the execution a little bit, holding onto the ball a few times. But saying that, I mean, we scored 3 tries to 2 and lost the game. So it's not, there's a lot of positives we got out of the game. And we only kept, Ulster scored 6 tries in the first game, scored 2 against us. So there were a lot of positives defensively. I thought we defended our try line really well in that weather. And you're right. I mean, you had a perfect game, the first game, where you score lots of points, and it probably becomes a bit one-sided. And then as soon as you're under pressure in the second game, you got to find a way in which you can absorb that pressure. And we probably did defensively, but we didn't do it attack-wise. Attack-wise, we're a little bit predictable, a little bit one-dimensional. And I think, by the words of our attack coach, probably didn't vary it as much as we could. But saying that, it was difficult in those conditions to really vary much more than we did.
How's the weather for tomorrow looking? Okay?
Yeah, well, the nice thing is that, I mean, it's a 2:00 kickoff, Ashfaq, so we play in the middle of the afternoon, which is nice. And I'm hoping that it's a nice afternoon, a little bit like it was at Loftus in round 1. It has rained a lot here, so I think the pitch will be a little bit wet. But if the rain stays away and the sun shines at 2:00, then obviously that would be a perfect scenario for us, considering we like to play at Loftus in the middle of the afternoons.
And just one more, Jake. I guess, but being on tour and having those different conditions, also good exercise for the guys to try different things. Sometimes you play the percentages and you play the conditions, and maybe a grubber here or there just to mix it up can also be good value throughout the season.
Ashfaq, not just the conditions. I think the surfaces. I mean, we played on that 3G pitch. They made it very clear it's not a 4G pitch; it's a 3G pitch, and obviously the makeup of that pitch is a bit different. It's different to 4G pitches. It's a little bit softer. It sounds weird, but it's a little bit. The grass is a bit thicker, and it's weaved a different way. So it's not just the rain and the wind and maybe the home crowds. It's adapting to the field surface that you play on as well. A lot of guys, as I said, felt really sore on Sunday post the game, because the field is so different. Running on it, falling on it, tackling on it. So yeah, it's something we're going to have to get used to, because if we play in this competition every year, we're going to play on these sort of fields. We're going to play next week in Cardiff on a 4G pitch. We're going to play Edinburgh on a 4G pitch. So you're right. The variation of playing on different pitches, different surfaces, different weather, different stadiums is something that we're going to have to, not only us, but I suppose all South African sides have to adapt to. And let's not forget, it's very different to go and play at Loftus for these teams in the middle of summer. So it's not one-sided. It's for everybody, Ashfaq.
At least it's a normal grass pitch tomorrow, I imagine?
Yes. Yeah, no. So it's a nice grass pitch. And yeah, so it also, as I said, a little bit more like what we used to. Although saying that, we've got a hybrid pitch now, so we're probably in the middle of both now.
Okay, cool. Thanks. Good luck.
Thanks, guys. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, guys.